Speech off.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'm here to resurrect a series that I have not done in probably over a year. It is my Questions I Always Wanted to Ask Sighted People series, and I thought what better time than in Visual Impairment Awareness Month, which is this month, October. So yeah, let's get started with my weird questions. I sort of like doing this just because making videos is like talking to people, and some of the questions are weird to ask straight to a person, so yeah. Plus, I like seeing people's answers, and it's more fun than Googling it. So let's just do this. I don't have a lot of questions this time, just because it was kind of a spur-of-the-moment thing. Does the sun rise on a rainy day? Today is kind of rainy. Well, it's very rainy. We kind of had a mini storm. We're going to have sun again tomorrow, so crazy weather around here. Southern California can have weird weather, even if it doesn't get blizzards. Anyway, I just wondered because I was looking at the weather app this morning just to see when it was going to stop raining, and it shows you the time for sunrise, and I was like, okay, so do you still see the sun rise on a cloudy day, or like the sun set? Or do you not see the sun at all? Like, can you see the sun when it's cloudy? And that brings me to the next question. What color is the sun? Because I've never understood. When you tell kids about the sun, it's yellow. And then you hear the song about Mr. Golden Sun, and it's golden. And then I've seen it in books described as red. So what's the deal? Make up your mind. Okay. Are carrots red or orange? I asked this because Anne of Green Gables has red hair, and Gilbert Blythe calls her carrots, and people have also described carrots as orange. So, red or orange, which one is it? Also, word of advice for parents of blind children: don't tell your kids that carrots are good for their eyes, because you're just asking for a snarky response. And don't cry when you get one, like my mother did when I refused to eat chicken soup because it had pieces of cooked carrots. And she told me they're good for my eyes, and I said, yeah, well, my eyes don't work anyway, so why am I going to eat those disgusting mushy carrots? The only carrots I eat are raw ones dipped in ranch. I don't like any cooked vegetable because most of them are slimy, and I just don't like the taste. So, yeah. Soups and stews are real hard for me. That's another reason why I have a difficult time at Mexican restaurants. They have this chopped salad with pieces of tomato and onion, and yuck. I don't like slimy food. And cooked vegetables tend to be soft. I'll eat all the salad you want with carrots and broccoli and whatever if it's raw, but do not give me a cooked veggie. Ever. Number 3. Can people actually hear when you're yelling at cars, in a moment of road rage? How much of the tantrum do they see? Do they see you flipping them off? I ask this because my dad is a road rager, and I've often wondered, do you just do this out of frustration, or can they actually hear you in the other car? And how much can they see when you're doing some rude hand gestures at the people in said car? Or are you just doing it to let out your own pent-up frustration? Because I do know that some car accidents happen with road rage, so I've always wondered how much of that those temper tantrums can be seen from passing cars. I left the file I had open. What do people point at if it's rude to point? And why is this a hand gesture if it's rude? Like, I remember when I was in preschool during mobility class, we had a unit on gestures. I remember being sat down and taught that nodding your head, yes, moving your head up and down, shaking your head, no, shrugging of the shoulders meant I don't know, and then they taught us how to point. They taught me. And I remember the pointing really well because I had very weak fingers as a little kid. So I had occupational therapy because you need good fingers to read Braille and to press on the Perkins Brailler, which is what you first learn to write with. That thing isn't very easy to press. That is not a measly computer keyboard. You need finger strength. Anyway, so I remember them working really hard to get me to form my fingers into the hand gesture for pointing. And then when I finally get to go out into the world, into the big wide world and show off my new skill, I get in trouble because I'm pointing at people. But what else am I supposed to point at? What do sighted people point at? Objects? And the objects that I would know to point at are the audible ones, like motorcycles or cars, but everyone knows where they are because they're making noise. So why would I need to point at them? What I pointed out was people, and I would get in trouble. So, yeah, maybe take pointing out of your repertoire of gestures for blind toddlers, because we just get in trouble when we use it out in the big wide world. So take it out. I've always resented that. Next, what's the draw of having someone autograph? Like, do people just like gaze at the handwriting on the book that's being signed? I can understand if you go and meet the author and they write you like a little message just for you with your name on it, I guess. But I think it's more meaningful to have a picture of you with that said famous person rather than something written in the book. Also, if you didn't actually meet them and you just buy an autographed book, why? Like, why would you pay more to have someone's writing on your book? What do you do with it? I've never quite understood that sighted people quirk that people have with autographs. It mystifies me. I mean, I've gone to a couple of author events. I almost went to Sally Hepworth's event at a bookstore last year, but my mom had to go to the ER, so I didn't get to go. And I remember asking them if I could go in for free because I wasn't, like, basically, you have to pay for an autographed book to get in because, you know. And I said, hey, I'm not taking any book from anyone. Can I just come in and listen to her talk and maybe get a picture? And they said yes, because I'm not, like, taking books from them. But, yeah, it's just weird how people are so into, like, a book that wasn't autographed specifically for them. They just like having her like the person's autograph. And, yeah. I've also seen people, like, have, like, autographed baseball caps and, like, they keep them until they smell. No one's handwriting is worth having a smelly ball cap, okay? Just, no. Anyway. I never understood that. Next question. This is going to sound weird, okay? And there's an explanation to it. What is a bald eagle? And does the bald eagle have feathers? I've never wondered about eagles before, but I watched this YouTuber who recaps TV shows. And she calls Cody from Sister Wives the bald eagle. And I know for a fact that Cody has real hideous curly hair. So why is he the bald eagle? I mean, like, well, I don't really care why he's a bald eagle, I guess. Like, do bald eagles have a lot of feathers? And if they do, why are they bald? Why are they called bald eagles? I've never cared about eagles, like I said, or wondered about them before, but Tisha, you got me wondering about eagles now. And yeah. I've been thinking way too hard about whether bald eagles have feathers. And if they do, why are they called bald? Or do feathers even count as hair? I don't know. Last question. This is kind of, I don't even know how how to ask this exactly, but what is a casual thing to be doing when you're trying to look like you're minding your own business? Like, what do sighted people do when they can't scroll on their phones? Or when they... Like, people talk about how we have this obsessive need to be on our phones, like everybody as a society. And I've actually actively tried to not be on my phone. Like, sometimes I'll sit in a room and just practice being in that space without technology and just be somewhere, and I can't do it. And it's not even necessarily because I have this obsessive need to check my messages. It's because, look at me right now, I'm playing with a paperclip because my phone is being used to record this video. I need to be doing something with my hands. You'll always see me fiddling with something when I'm making a video if I'm not reading. Right now it's a paperclip. Sometimes it's my iPhone remote. Like, is that just like a, what's it called? Like a stimulus I need? Or something? I used to carry a toy around and just fiddle with it as a little kid, and that just turned into my phone. I just cannot be somewhere and not play with something or do something with my hands. So, like, even when I'm watching TV, I'm like, well, right now my newest thing is my brownout finally is working with fan fiction. So I'm saving all these links to different fan fiction so that I can start saving them as Braille files. So it's like busy work, but I can still concentrate on the show. And I'm still doing something with my hands. Sometimes if the show is kind of boring, I'll read at the same time and completely ignore the show and just have it on as background. That's something I do with my hands. But I can't just sit and watch a show because I'll fall asleep. So it's not even just that, like, I need my phone for, like, because everybody wants, needs to be plugged in. It's that I physically don't know what to do with myself when I'm not playing with my phone. And also, when I just sit somewhere, if I'm not with someone, people inevitably ask me questions. Like, if I'm okay. I cannot possibly sit alone in a room in a public area without somebody asking if I've been dumped or if I'm okay. You can watch one of my other videos from the early days where I can tell you what exactly happened to me at Children's Hospital. Because I was sitting there waiting for my sister in the lobby alone. God forbid a blind person just sits in a lobby alone. So what I started doing is scrolling on my phone because that's what every other sighted person is doing. And then I look busy. Sometimes that works, sometimes that doesn't work. And yeah, so I don't know how to just be somewhere. Also, sometimes if I'm like, the only other thing that attracts my attention, like in waiting rooms, is people's conversations. And then I can't help myself but make it obvious that I'm actually listening to your conversation because I'm leaning forward to hear what they're saying, and it's dead obvious. I don't have a poker face to save my life. And yeah, so I don't know what kind of like look on my face I have when I'm not doing anything, but some people assume I'm sad. Some people assume I've been left alone or whatever. Should I just sit in the waiting room chair and just smile like this? Big Barney serial killer grin so that people don't think I'm really sad? I don't think I could hold this expression for much longer. My face hurts. But I honestly don't know what to do because that's not, I don't know. Don't they tell women that they should smile more? I wonder if they tell blind people that even more, that we should smile more. Because clearly I look miserable when I'm not doing something apparently, because everybody notices when I'm just sitting there. I'm clearly upset about something. No, I'm not. I'm just attempting to be in a space without taking my phone out of my pocket, and it doesn't work for me, which is why I just keep scrolling. So how do you just be in a room? I know sighted people, like, if they're bored, they, like, count tiles or whatever. I don't know. Examine how many spots are on the wallpaper. You find something to focus on. That's the problem. I don't have anything to focus on, so I either fall asleep or I find something to focus on, which in some cases is the conversation of the person in front of me or next to me, which is none of my business. But, you know, I don't know. So somebody needs to show me how to just be in a room. I haven't figured it out yet. And on that note, that is all I have for you this video. I am doing a Q&A at the end of the month with questions that you sighted people might want to ask me. So I will link that video in the description box, and you guys can go and watch that and type your questions into the comments. I love questions, and I don't really have too many this year, so yeah. I mean, based on this video, I'm open to dumb questions. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Bye.
Speech on. 10% close. But stop recording.